Okay, so I'll quickly share my screen so we just get started. Host, I think you need to enable me to share my screen.
Try again, please.
Okay. Yes, I can now. Thank you. Okay. 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 Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know the time zone you're joining. So how are we doing today? Happy New Week. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Glory.
Yeah, thank you. So as much as we'll be learning, I would like us to interact as much as possible. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to let me know what is not clear so that at the end of the day, we would actually really learn. So yeah. Okay, please give me 1 minute.
Yes, I think she's trying to join back. So let's just give her a second or maybe 1 or 2 minutes for her to be back, rather. So pending the time she fixes what she's doing, this is our 5th workshop, and we are likely going to have the next one next week. That's the last one rather next week. And at the same time, we understand how how the program went, how some people are really new to the Web3 space and how they kind of struggle to keep up with everything. But we'll be sending out a form to get everyone's feedback on how the program works. And also we'll be announcing a couple of partnerships in the coming weeks. And of course, the hackathon would definitely be announced next week. So, if you have a friend, even though he or she doesn't participate from the beginning of this program, and they are interested in participating in the workshop, in the hackathon, please feel free to share when the link is out so that we can get everyone registered. And also, if there's anything concerned that you would like to ask, please feel free to always share. You can share on Discord, you can share maybe after our call here, you can share anytime. So let's just get right into it. Hopefully, we need to, let me ping that to see what's going on with our network, then we can continue.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. So let me quickly share my screen again. Please can everybody hear me?
But your network is still rugging.
Just I log in again.
Just be sure. Or can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can.
You say what?
Can hear you, boy.
Can you see my screen? And can you hear me clearly?
Yes, but it's fluctuating between like bad and good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing you to Web 3.0, and I'm going to be, so yeah, this is like the boys what? Oh.
Yeah, I think she's having like a delay. So my message is
Yeah, exactly. The message is there's a lag between our response. I think it's still network that's causing all of that.
I think a good suggestion also can be like if she gives her PDF for somebody to present, and I don't know if there's a way that she can just be speaking like only as the person is going through the PDF. I believe that can solve the issue.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but now we can no longer hear you and you're on mute. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hopefully it doesn't go wrong or go bad when you start talking.
Okay, thankfully. Okay, let's just continue. Oh, no, this one I'm supposed to be sharing. Okay, so I'm going to be, okay, the title of this whole stuff, at the end of the day, the end goal is to get introduced to Web 3.0 and to master Web 3.0. So the agenda, first of all, we're going to be starting with an introduction to Web 3.0. Then we'll go on to Web3.js. We'll move on to Ether.js, and then we'll be doing some practicals on how you can connect your decentralized application to a smart contract using either Web 3.0 or Ether.js. Okay. So my name is Glory Praise Emmanuel. You can find me on all social, not all, I'm not on every social, I'm not on every social media platform, but on Twitter and the popular ones, you can find me at Emma Glory Praise. I'm a blockchain developer. I said my tech career as a front-end engineer. So I have a couple of years of experience building front-end applications. I'm a Web3 front-end engineer. I'm a technical writer, and I create tech content. I have a YouTube channel, and I do all those things. I do all these things, and I won a Women in Tech category award under the Superwoman Under 30 Awards, and I'm really passionate about providing solution with technology. Like, I find joy solving human problems with technology. Yeah, so that is me, and this is who is talking to you. Okay, so let's just move on. Please, if you have questions, do well to like signify so that we get cleared up at that particular place. And you can also like write it down so that when we get to maybe if you just have questions, just feel free to ask. Okay, so let's move on to like the introduction to Web 3.0. Okay, so I'm sure that one of the reasons you're here, or one of the reasons why you're learning, one of the reasons why you're actually in this program is because you probably heard about the Web 3.0 hype. Everybody was shouting Web 3, Web 3, Web 3. everybody was talking about the blockchain, NFTs, all of those things were like, it was like a buzzword. I think in 2021, 2020, 2021 mainly, it started mainly in 2021. So what is Web 3.0 exactly? Now, Web 3.0 or Web 3, as we popularly hear about, is the third generation of the World Wide Web. So it's currently a work in progress, and the vision is to have a decentralized and open web with greater utility for its users. Now, it is built using artificial intelligence, machine learning, the semantic web, and it uses the blockchain security systems to keep your information safe and secure. Now, Web 3.0 seeks to solve problems related to Web 2.0 by creating a decentralized form of the web. Now, it runs on certain principles. We are going to get into all of this, but I think beyond reading all of this English, what Web 3.0 is, in simpler terms, is just the third evolution of the web. Now, we're going to go through all of that, but it is still a work in progress, like this slide said. It's still a work in progress. A lot of people are still figuring out a lot of things. A lot of technologies are still being innovated. A lot of concepts are still being, people are still trying to understand. People are still trying to build. People are still trying to learn. That is why you hear a lot of people say that you are early, because you are at the very beginning where it is all starting. So I think that is one of the reasons why we should actually like pay attention and actually like grasp it now that it's still early and new. So, okay, so let's go down the evolution of the web. Like, I'm sure that if you see Web 3.0, you know that there was actually like a Web 1, there was actually like a Web 2, and now we have Web 3. So, Web 1, let's start from Web 1. Let's start from Web 1. Now, Web 1 is that era of the internet where a lot of people did not have computers. A lot of people did not have access to internet. The internet was new, and very few people were actually contributing to the internet. Very few people were contributing. So it was that age of static websites where you go to cyber cafes. You maybe that was when like information, you go to cyber cafes and you're searching for stuffs on the internet, and you're seeing very not really good looking web pages. Like the web pages then were very crude. So you're seeing all of those things. The internet users at that point where everybody was like, oh, what is this? What is this innovation? What is this thing that we have here? Content creation was not really a thing at that point in time, because very few people could actually contribute to this web. Now, it was mainly the people that actually, mainly the people that built, then some very few companies that were coming up, they were the only ones that could actually like really contribute. Every other person was just like a consumer. They just could only go and read. So that was like what Web 1 was like. So it was quite new. It was static web pages. We could only read. It was like a read-only web. So people could only read information written on websites. After that, we moved on to Web 2.0. Now, Web 2.0 is the read-write web. That is currently where we are, like to a larger extent, and is where we're actually moving from, where people can now read, you can now write content on websites and applications. Is this phase that we have companies like Facebook, all the social media platforms. You could actually post a tweet and someone in the UK can read it. You can see content that was produced in China. So that's the era we are currently in, and that's the era we are currently moving out from. Now, things like social connectivity, interaction, user-generated content, it's a thing here. But now there's like a downside to this. Web 2.0 was just limited to just, you could only read, you could only write. But now these companies that had these platforms, companies like Facebook, companies like Amazon, they are the ones that actually like own the data. So any data that you're putting on the internet right now, it is not your own. That is why you see things like censorship. Tomorrow you can wake up and they have blocked your account. Tomorrow you can wake up and they have put down a particular post of yours. That's because it is not your own. Those are like some of the things that Web 3.0 is trying to solve or like provide. So this is where we are. Companies like Airbnb, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Uber, all of those things are like the innovations that came with Web 2.0. So moving on to Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is the read, write, and own web, where people can read, write, interact with content. So it is the next phase of the internet, and it is actually a lot. You can imagine what we can do right now, and you can imagine what we cannot even imagine, because Web3 is still being developed. So there a lot of things could actually come up. So things like artificial intelligence, things like there's a whole lot. We are going to find out later on in the slide, but this is like where you actually own the data that you put out. No company, because of decentralization, no company actually like has that so much power to like really control what happens on the internet. So now the users have now become like the government. The users are the ones that they're in charge of putting out these information. They're in charge of like owning it. They're in charge of, you are now the owner of the internet, basically. That's like some of the things that Web3 provides. Now, if you check on the slides, I think here, you see that there are no yet standardized definitions of the Web3, but there are some features that we can use to like identify it. There are some features that we can say, okay, this is Web3. Let's go ahead to see them. Now, one of the features of Web3 is openness. Now, all users can view all the data stored in the network. Now, it is made with open source softwares developed by an open and available communities of developers, and is accomplished in full view of the public. Now, openness is one of the features of Web3. We, just like open source, you know how open source products are, it's there on GitHub. You can go there, you can contribute to it. Everybody can see what is there. With the use of the blockchain, everybody has access to the data that is being stored there. Now, I have to add that blockchain is one of the technologies that is powering Web3. So it helps achieve this openness feature, because it's actually open for everybody to access. Now there's decentralization. So this Web3 is decentralized. Now Web3 uses a peer-to-peer connected network that doesn't rely on a centralized server. Now, unlike Web2, where, so let me like kind of give an example. You know how I don't know the kind of people that we have on this call. I don't know how technical you are. I don't know if you're straight out newbies or whether you're advanced. But let me just give you an example of how a Web2 application works. So now there's a front end, there's a back end, then there's a server, there's a database where all of this information you get from the users or any information that you're seeing on the website is actually being stored. In Web3, there is no centralized server. The blockchain is where the data is being stored. And the blockchain is decentralized. There are nodes. Nodes are like computers that are in different locations. So the users are actually the ones that are carrying the internet. So blockchain is decentralized, meaning that it's peer-to-peer connected, and there's no one central server that you're like, everything is being stored there. So a piece of the network is put in all of those different nodes. All of them have the same copy of the network, so it is decentralized. So let's move on. I believe later on we'll get to understand more of this thing in depth. Now there's censorship resistance. Now Web3 doesn't have censorship. Since nobody has like full power, nobody can say I'm the owner of this. Nobody actually can censor you. Now this is a good thing and it's a bad thing, because we know that everything has a good and a bad side. But yes, censorship is one of the is censorship resistant, so it's one of those features of the Web3. Now the next one is immutable. Now this immutability is one of like the concepts of the blockchain. Whatever that has been stored there cannot be changed. So your information that is being put on the blockchain is there forever. We can say it's there forever because it cannot be removed, you cannot edit it, you cannot change it. Now this is a good thing and a bad thing also. It's a good thing because you know that whatever you're seeing is probably correct because it cannot be changed, it cannot be altered. And it's a bad thing because things like privacy, you have to be careful about the kind of things you're putting out there because you know that it is open to everybody to see and it cannot be changed, cannot be removed, more like. So moving on, it's trustless. You don't have to trust any platform. You don't need to trust anybody. You're not holding anybody ransomed. You don't have to trust anybody. So it's trustless. Then it's permissionless. You don't need permission to use anything. You don't need permission. Now, is a big, how do I pronounce? Ubiquitous. They taught me this in university. So now, ubiquitous. Oh my God. So what this means is that you don't really need a particular kind of device for you to have access to the internet. Using technologies like Internet of Things, you don't really need like a computer per se. You don't really need like a phone per se. Any device can be internet enabled. So now one of the things that Web3 is going to do, okay. Now one of the things that Web3 is going to do is going to make the internet available to different kind of devices from different locations. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to minimize something. Okay, yeah. So it's going to make the internet available to all of us at any time from any location. At some point, internet connected devices will no longer be limited to computers and smartphones. Now that's where IoT comes in. I don't know if you've heard of things like smart houses that you don't really need to be there to control. Not really furniture, but any like device in your home is like smart. So that is part of like the features of these are like part of the features of Web3. There's a whole lot more, but of course we cannot sit down today and start trying to explain everything because we'll probably not live here. So let's just move on. So now why Web3? Now the main benefits of Web3 is trust and ownership. Since there's no middleman involved in the network and every individual has a copy of the data, it ensures that there's no censorship, there's less risks of data loss and high security. Now, trust means removing the middlemen from the equation establishes trust in the network. Since we no longer have to trust these middlemen like banks, central organizations, and third parties to get the work done. So that's on trust and ownership. Every piece of data committed on the network is digitally signed with their private key by the user and validated by other parties. So the user that creates the data on the block is the rightful owner. So let me explain this. Now, I'm going to try to compare Web2 and Web3 here again. Now, in a standard Web2 application, you know, when you're doing something like user authentication or maybe your identity, your profile on a Web2 application is linked to like your email and your password. So for example, if you go to Twitter now and you make a tweet, the account that makes the tweet is just how you know that is your account is that you're able to log into it. You're able to like put in your email, put in your password, and you're logged into it. That's you're authenticated as a user. Is you. It shows that is you. Now in Web3, most Web3 applications, although because of people are trying to make Web3 applications familiar to like Web2 applications. So there are some that you see put in your email and stuff. But in Web3, the main source of authentication is your wallet address. When I say your wallet address, I mean either your hot wallet or your cold wallet, something like MetaMask, Trust Wallet, all of those other wallet providers. So that is your identity. So now when you are in a Web3 application and you, for example, you create a post. Now, your wallet has a private key. And for you to be able to put, to store a piece of information on the blockchain, you need your private key to authenticate that particular transaction. You need it to validate, your transaction has to be validated with your private key. So when you actually do that, you're the one that is actually creating that block. You're the one that's actually putting it. So that particular content is being traced to your private key. It's being traced to your wallet. It's being traced to your address. So you are the rightful owner of it. So it is not, for example, let's say a Web3 Twitter. It's not Twitter that has that particular post. It is your own. So if we're going to monetize it, you, the owner of that particular address, you're the one that actually gets the money. I don't know if you get. So that's why ownership is a big deal, because in Web2, anything you're making on Twitter is not your own. Twitter, they're even running ads on top of it. They're running ads on top of it, and they're the ones that is like making the money. Why you're not making money? The only thing you can do is maybe it helps you with like marketing. Let's say you have a business you want to market, they'll help you show your ads to people that need to see it, and you're still paying for it. It's not like it's free. But here in Web3, you actually have ownership of your data. So this is like some of the reasons why Web3 is actually like important. So let's move on. Please, before we continue, do you understand what I've said so far? Are there any questions? Can you hear me clearly? So that, okay, someone said something. Let me go and check the chat. Okay. Someone was laughing at me. You people. Okay, yeah. So it means it can be accessed anyway. Internet of Things, yes. Okay, so let's continue. Let's move on to like the layers of Web 3.0. Now, for Web 3.0, some of the things that are actually driving it includes like mobile technology. For you to be able to have things like mobile app, you can have like your banking application as a mobile app. You can have like an e-commerce shop in form of like a mobile app. So you can use it from your phone. So mobile technology is there, social media is there, cloud technologies is there. Those are like the things that were mainly driving Web 2.0. Now, Web 3.0 is powered by a lot of things. Now, these are just some of them. There's edge computing, there's decentralization, there's artificial intelligence and machine learning, and then there's the blockchain. Now, I laugh when I hear people say things like, Web3 has died. I don't know if you notice the recent trend of artificial intelligence or like the social media, you hear things like, Web3 has died. Leave Web3. People don't talk about Web3 anymore. It's now AI. Everybody go and learn AI. But they don't understand that AI is part of the technology that is mainly going to power Web3. AI is one of the pillars of Web3, because Web 3.0 is not just about decentralized applications. It's not just about making payments with cryptocurrencies. It's not just about that. It's also going to help search to be faster. For example, if you go to Google now and you ask Google a question like, what is the source of, for example, what is the source of, what is the source of, well, what can I use? Okay, what is the source of data in a server? Google will not tell you the source of data in a server is. What you receive is going to just recommend articles, videos, content that are related to the search, like to those keywords that you inputted. I don't But in Web3, or for that in the server is this, that. It's personalized. You actually feel like you're actually like talking to somebody. You actually feel like you're actually getting information that is streamlined to your search. So those are part of the things that comes with Web 3.0. It's not just cryptocurrencies, it's not just decentralized applications, it's not just that, oh, these things are being hosted and powered by the blockchain. Artificial intelligence and machine learning also plays a huge role in Web 3.0. Of course, there's decentralization, there's edge computing, there's blockchain. All of these things are what makes up Web 3.0. So I'm hoping that was clear, and I'll continue. So if you have any questions, do well to let me know. So how does Web 3.0 work? Now, at the end of the day, my goal is when you're building decentralized applications, you're interacting with your smart contracts, because I'm sure that you've probably been learning about smart contracts. By the time you're working with your smart contracts, you're actually like putting two of them together. I want you to know what is actually happening behind the scene. I want you to actually understand that. That is why I'm actually like really going this low to like explain. I hope this is helpful, honestly. So how does Web 3.0 work? Now, in a Web 2 application, a user has to interact with the front end. I think I said this, which communicates to the back end, which further communicates to its database. The entire code is hosted on centralized servers, which are sent to users through an internet browser. So when you search on Google, Google goes to find that website for you that has been saved. Everything is being saved in the server. Now, Web3 has neither centralized servers, database that store the application state, nor a centralized web server where the backend logic resides. Instead, there's a blockchain to build apps on a decentralized state machine, which is in, for example, in the Ethereum blockchain, the decentralized state machine is like the EVM, and it is maintained by anonymous nodes on the web, which are like the miners. So in Web3, there's no database that stores this. There's no database. Now the backend logic is mostly residing in, so like here, okay, if you continue, it says that the logic of your applications is defined in smart contracts, which are deployed onto the decentralized state machine. The front end remains almost the same as in Web2. Now, the back end of your application is most times your smart contracts. So when you're asking for like a backend developer in Web3, you're most likely talking about a smart contract developer, because that is like the backend of a Web3 application. And the backend, that's the smart contract, is being stored on the blockchain. So there's no need for a centralized database or server. So this is what this is trying to say. And then it's being the state of that particular application is being managed by the state machine, which is in Ethereum is the EVM. In other blockchains, they have their own name for it. And it's being maintained by the miners. So the miners are the ones that validate transactions. They're the ones that ensure that everything is going as it should. Now, the front end is almost the same thing. When you see front end of the Web2 and Web3 applications, they are almost the same. The only, like for example, if you're using Vue.js, React.js, you're still going to use them in Web3. But the difference is the tools that you're going to be adding to it. For example, when it comes to things like authentication, just like the example I gave, logging in a user profile in Web2 is now different in Web3 because you're using a wallet address. I don't know if you get. So there's that. So let's go ahead. Now, Web 3.0 architecture. Please, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. But there's background.
Okay, awesome. So now there are primarily 4 elements in the architecture that makes up Web 3.0. Now there is the blockchain. Now this is Ethereum blockchain because the tools that we are going to be using are actually for like, they're actually like maintained by, for example, Web3.js is actually being maintained by Ethereum Foundation. So we're going to be like using the Ethereum blockchain. So anytime I say blockchain, I'm actually talking about like Ethereum. So the Ethereum blockchain is there. So these are globally accessible state machines maintained by a peer-to-peer network of nodes. Anyone in the world can access the state machine and write to it. Essentially, it is not owned by any single identity, rather collectively by everyone in the network. Users can write to the Ethereum blockchain, but they can never update existing data. So this is just one of the elements of Web 3.0 is the blockchain. Okay, so this is my question. I'll close it now. So the second part is like the smart contract. Now the smart contracts are like the back end of these applications in most cases. So now they are written by developers with languages like Solidity, Viper. So they define the logic behind the state changes. Now then there is the EVM, which is the state machine. And then there is the front end, just like every other application. Of course, you need a front end to have a working application so that users can actually use it. So now this brings us to like the apps. The apps are like decentralized applications. So it's decentralized because it's being powered by the blockchain. There is no server that is actually holding any data there. That's why it's called decentralized applications. So now these are similar to the normal apps we use every day, except the fact that they run on the blockchain via smart contracts. Now, smart contracts are codes that are stored on the blockchain that run automatically when certain conditions are met. So that those are like, now that we have like a good understanding of like the front end, the decentralized applications, the apps, smart contracts, we can now go on to those technologies that we'll be using to interact with these two sides. Now there's the front end side, which is like your React application. Then there's the back end side, which is the smart contracts. So the tools we are going to be using are now things like Web3.js, Ether.js to interact with your contract from your front end. So let's just move on. So introduction to Web3.js. So I would really like us to like do practicals here. So I'll try to write some codes and I would like you to do that as well if you can. So what is Web3.js? Now Web3.js is a JavaScript library that allows developers to interact with Ethereum blockchain networks through codes. It provides a simple and easy way to interface. Okay, it provides a simple and easy to use interface for building decentralized applications and interacting with smart contracts. It allows you to perform actions like send ethers from one account to another, read and write data from smart contracts, create smart contracts, and so much more. So you can use Web3.js in some way to like read and write to the Ethereum blockchain. That is it's a JavaScript library. Now Web3.js talks to the Ethereum blockchain with a JSON RPC. Now RPC stands from Remote Procedural Call Protocol. Ethereum is a peer-to-peer network of nodes, of course, we know that. And Web3.js allows us to make requests to an individual node with this JSON RPC in order to read and write. Now, this JSON RPC, you can actually, so what this thing is trying to say is that is either you're running your own node that you can use to interact with the blockchain, or you use a JSON RPC that is being provided by companies like Infura, Alchemy, QuickNodes. So they allow you to like read and write data to the network. So here I wrote, it's kind of like using jQuery with a JSON API to read and write data with a web server. So it's very similar. It's very similar. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so some of the dependencies you need npm, which is like your node package manager. You can just check. So npm comes with node. If you install node, you find npm there. So you can just check it by typing node, this code here, node -space -v to check. Then you need to install Web3.js library. Then of course you need an RPC URL from either whatever platform you want to use, Infura, Alchemy, all of those things. Okay, so let me just check the chat 1 minute. Okay, I don't know. These guys are having another class, so I'll just let them be for now. So I think we could just get started. So I have an empty folder here that I created just for this class, and I want us to like do this along just in case, so that if you encounter any problem along the way, we'll be able to like resolve it. So I'm going to search Node, even though I know fully well that I have Node installed, and of course I have the version of Node show npm-v just to check, and I have npm installed. Then the next thing to do is to install Web3.js. By just saying Web3, you'll be able to install it. So I'm going to say npm install Web3, and it's going to install. So now, in a proper work environment, you already have your React application. You already have your front end, like you have the UI already. So what you're doing is that you're creating a folder in your source file, your source folder rather. You're creating a folder there, and because you want to be organized, you want all the things that pertain to like this Web3.js or Ether.js or whatever, you want it to be in one place. That's why you're creating a folder for it. So you just create a folder in your React application, in your source file, and then you can do you can put all your files, all the codes that you'll be needing there, so that you don't get it mixed up in different places. So this is this. This is this. So this is taking a bit while to install. So while this is installing, the other thing that is needed here is an RPC URL. So how you get this is you go to your browser and you check Infura Alchemy. So I think I have one on Alchemy. So I'll just go to my browser. How do I minimize this? Can I move this around? Oh, I can't see this thing from here. If someone should help me. What do I do to minimize this thing? Because I don't want to stop sharing, and there's no space for me to move it around. What do I do?
What do you want to do?
Okay, I'm seeing
the minus icon there. The minus icon there on top, top right.
Top right. There's no minus icon.
That's to minimize the browser, right? To minimize the browser.
No, not to minimize the browser. To minimize this. Okay. Don't worry, I'm able to move it. I'm seeing a tab that is showing me that I'm sharing. So I wanted to like move it out of the way. Okay, so I'll just search Infura. I'll just search Infura. I don't know why I'm having all of these things. So what you do is you just create a project, and when you create a project, you have like an API key. So I already have a project here, and this, you see the API key, and this API key is what you use. This is like the RPC that we're talking about. This is what you use to access the blockchain. So you can see here for mainnet, Ethereum, you can select a testnet, but I'm going to use mainnet because why not? So I'll just copy this and keep this handy. Let me go back to my Visual Studio Code. Yes, it has finished installing. So I'm going to just keep this here. I'll just keep this here. So after you've installed your Web3.js, you've installed the package into your project, you now need to like import it. You need to import it. So because I don't need to carry everything in my head, my life is not that hard. So you're going to import it by const web3 equals just the same way you import any package actually in like your application. So you're just going to require it. Oh, I wish I could copy this. I have to go and type it. So const web3 also require, I don't like to call it type, but web3. Yes. Now this, I'll change it to capital letter because we are going to still use the small letter. So after that, the next thing you need to do is just to initialize it. That's the English I was looking for. So here you see you're just saying new web3. So you're just calling whatever you got up here. You're just calling it here, and you're going to initialize Web3.js. And you're using this, you're going to connect to this your mainnet Infura RPC URL that you got. So I'm going to just say Web3 equals to new, the one above Web3. Then we'll copy this, paste there. Okay, so after that, you can now start interacting with it. You can actually start interacting with it, but just to test that it's working. So yeah, this address is, if you want to interact with it using an address, like you want to interact with a smart contract that is on the blockchain, or you want to get information from a wallet address, you can use the address part. But let me just test that it's working, I will just write this particular one here. I'll just type it. Okay, as web3 dot it dot get. Okay, so I have to add that one of the best ways to use this kind of tools is to have the documentation handy, so that in case you need something, because honestly, you cannot have everything in your head. Me, I don't even try to have everything in my head.
There's an error in your first line, that number one line.
What's it? Okay, yeah. Okay. Is it that? That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I don't try to have everything in my head. So I use the document. Another reason why you should have the documentation handy is that these technologies always have, like, they're always being upgraded to fix bugs, to fix security patches, to provide security patches. So sometimes they will change the syntax, and you'll be using a syntax that you've already crammed. But
yeah, please,
okay.
Yeah, please, I have a question. Regarding
Okay.
The documentation, like where you got the, rather than just cramming it, I want to ask, like, where do we get the the documentation, that template, so that to make the coding easier?
You won't see, you may not see the exactly what I'm typing, but you could just check Web3.js, and you see the documentation as part of the source.
Okay.
So this is like npm's page. I'm just going to access it from there. So this is their Git repo. And to just show you everything, then here they have a link to the documentation. This is the best way me I get documentations. And here is the documentation. So it will tell you every single thing that is provided, although some documentations are not really up to date as well, but they try. Most of them, they try. So you'll find all the methods. So if you ever want to do something with, say, this Web3.js, you could just come here and type it. You could just type it. For example, let's say block number. Let's say I want to get the block number. You just type it and they'll bring out a list of all of those things that have block number. And you may see examples and stuff. So this is the documentation. You could just start from getting started and they will explain. I can see adding Web3.js, npm install Web3.
Okay, yeah. One other thing I was asking is the formats. Like we were looking at some formats on how to write the code, the deploy code.
No. It's the same thing that is here. Like if you check, what I've just written here is I'm importing Web3.js. It's the same thing. Even if you're going to use Ether.js, you're still going to import it from the package that is from your node modules. So I'm just importing it here. This is like a 6-way. I could as well have said import Web3, but this is like how to like import ES6. Then here, this second line, I am just, if you check here, you see it. Cons Web3 equals, so you're just creating like an instance of Web3. That's what you're doing. That's what you're just doing. So this is like, you're going to like reuse it. You just need it once to just connect to that RPC that you got from this Infura or Alchemy. So that's why I'm just saying const Web3 equals to new, then this Web3 that you got from your node module, and then the provider is this HTTPS kini that you copied from Infura. So once you have this, you can connect to you can read from the blockchain. Once you have these 2 lines. So anything you're going to do here is just you interacting with it. You're just saying Web3, like this one you have here, .it, because this is how Web3.js, or just, you know how languages have their own syntaxes. This is in Web3.js is it dot whatever method you want to call. This method is get block number. I don't know if you get. So I'm going to, we're going to, yeah. So let me just copy this. I just want to ensure that it has been installed. That's why I have this here. So Web3 get block. This is just if else. Okay, I think when you get it, I don't know if you'll be able to copy it because when I'm presenting, that's why I cannot copy. But when you get the slides, you'll be able to like
screenshot it.
Yes, be able to do that. Yes, what was I doing? I was copying this. This is just to provide an error. Said if it doesn't work, leave error console. Why my stuff is not highlighting colors. This could be anything actually.
I think the index.js file you created, there's
Yeah.
a space between dots.
Yeah. Yes, I see it now. Thank you. I was wondering why the color was not showing. Thank you so much for that. I'll correct it. Let me just finish typing. Writing exactly what is there. Okay, I need to display the result. So if this is not an error, show this line. But if it's an error, console log the error. Console log. So that should do. Thank you so much for this. Yes, thank you. So now to just run this alone, you could just use Node to run it. I really wish I could close this thing. Yeah. So I'm going to say Node index.js. So Node is going to, I'm having an error. What's the error here? Okay. Oh, this stuff is really. What's the error? Get block number error result equal to. Why are you asking for this? Okay. Sorry, I see now. Okay, so I'll just say node index.js. I need to run that particular file. Now, okay, so you can see that current block number and it's giving you the block number. That's to show you that you're able to actually like access the blockchain. So this is just how to install Web3.js. This is just how to install it. I want us to move to Ether.js and just have a brief introduction as well. Then the next thing is to show you how to like connect a smart contract to a front end using either this Web3.js or Ether.js. So I'll just continue with the slides. Now, Ether.js is a little bit different from Web3.js, and you don't need to use both of them actually. Some companies prefer you use Web3.js, others prefer you use Ether.js. So those are like the differences. So what is Ether.js? Now, Ether.js is a powerful JavaScript library that enables developers to interact with the Ethereum blockchain network and build decentralized applications. So it's a lightweight and easy to use library that simplifies the process of interacting with Ethereum networks. And one of the blockchain products which uses Ether.js as their sole reliable communication to blockchain nodes is Uniswap.org. I don't know if you know Uniswap. But Uniswap uses Ether.js. So how does it work? Now, it works the same way as Web3.js. it uses RPC, a JSON RPC, to make requests to like a node to either read or write data. So it does this. You need an RPC also using Ether.js. Now, unlike Web3.js, so Web3.js just assumes that you're interacting with it from a node. So it doesn't need any other thing. You could just start working with it like that. But Ether.js needs, it kind of like has two parts. It's being segmented to two parts, that you need a provider and you need a signer. Now your provider is what you use to connect to the blockchain node. That is where you're using like your RPC. That's where you're using your RPC, whether from Alchemy or from what's the other one? Infura. So your provider is what connects you to the node. Then the signer is now like an abstraction of your wallet. That is what you need to send like you need to sign a transaction. Because for you to like, it's actually free to read data off a blockchain. But for you to write data, you need gas. So when you are sending data to the blockchain, or when you're like deploying data to the blockchain, you actually need gas. Gas is like the payment for each transaction that you're doing. And you can only get it through like a wallet address that actually has the money inside. So you need like a wallet address to sign. So using Ether.js, you actually need a signer for you to sign any transactions to the blockchain. So you're going to use the provider that you've gotten .get signer on it to do that. I don't know if you understand. So let me try to explain again. So the provider creates an instance, like it creates an instance of Ether.js that allows you to connect to the blockchain, while the signer creates an instance that allows you to sign new transactions to the blockchain. So that's like the difference. Then there's one more, the contract. Now the contract is, if you want to create a contract, you need to pass in a couple of things. First is the address of where the contract is deployed. That the contract actually has to be deployed to like a testnet or a mainnet. That's for you to interact with it. And then you need the ABI. The ABI is what? So an ABI is like, I'll show you what an ABI is. Do I have it in the slide? No, I don't have it. Oh, I would have shown you what an ABI is. But I think we'll check Etherscan to see what an ABI is. But an ABI is actually like a JSON file that has the functions and the methods that are in the smart contract. So it's that thing that you actually tell the front end that, okay, this is this function, this is that function, is what allows you to actually like interact with those function signatures in your smart contracts. So when you're trying to create an instance of a contract, like you're trying to do anything that requires a contract, you need to create an instance of a contract in your file or whatever you're using to do. So that's what this is trying to say. So for you to do that, you need the address of the contract, you need the ABI of the contract, then you need to pass a provider or a signer to read or to write. By now, I'm sure you get the provider to read, then a signer to write, to make changes to the blockchain. So now with a contract instance, we can call all the functions that are stored on the smart contract. We can communicate with the smart contracts any way we want. Should we pass in a signer or provider? So if you pass in a provider, you only be able to read, like I said. Then if you pass in a signer, you'll be able to read and to write. So this is just how it's going to be. New ethers.contract, then the address, the ABI, then the signer or provider. That's just how it's going to be different. So let's just continue. I'm sure you would understand it better. So the dependencies you need here is still like almost the same thing. The only thing is that you're installing Ethers. You're just installing Ethers.js. So you need Ethers library, the same RPC, then of course Node. So now we're going to do the same thing, but using Ether.js. Then from here, we'll now go to like interacting with a contract. So let me go back to my VS Code. So I'm going to create another file here. How do I call this one now? Let's call it index.js. So I'm still going to say const okay. Oh, sorry. This one I'm importing. Why? I can still do this. Can't I? Yeah, I think I can still do this. Okay, then the provider part. Now, if you notice okay, let me just write it out first before I start noticing. Const the provider equals to new. Oh, I've not installed it as yet. So let me install it as here. How do we install it? Then just save. Okay, save it as. Okay, save it as. So this will install it as well. So let me continue writing out the other one. So now the difference now is just going to be in the syntax. It dot new. It's not dot away. It dot providers dot JSON. Like I said, we could just go to documentation and get this so that we won't make mistakes. Just use this here. Provider. Copy this other one, paste it. So I'll copy the same function, paste it here. For now, I'll just have to change it to provider. Get block. Yeah. Get block. Okay, the syntax is different though. Get block number dot then I'll pass in the block number. Okay. You're calling the function. Get block number. Just write it. The reason is I want to make me just copy and paste. Then it was then block. I'm getting block number instead. You guys cannot see the thing I'm busy moving up and down. So block number here. Where's the error coming from? This was the error, gosh. Oh, I wish I could just copy it. What is it? Clash. Clash. Upload the error. Copy this one. What am I looking for now? Let me start something. I don't know why I don't keep learning. I still gonna copy. I'm missing a dot. Bring this down. As well. Okay, so let's just try to. So the only difference, if you notice, is just how you're engaging with it. First of all, in Web3.js, you're using Web3 or whatever you named it, .it. Most of the method you call it using it dot the method name. But here, you're going to be accessing it. You're calling each of the methods like in a different way. You're calling it as if you're calling an API. Although I'm sure that there are different ways that you could do this. Actually, different ways. Let's just see if it works. So I'll change this to 2. What's the error? Undefined providers, with direct providers. Ethers dot providers. Okay, I think that provider is in capital letter. No, it's not. Saying cannot read 40 of undefined hidden providers. I agree. Provider. Okay, go and check the documentation. So documentation to the rescue. Yes. So are you guys with me, or have I lost everybody?
I'm still here.
Okay. So I'll just check the docs. The annoying things about programming that sometimes to just be comma or something. Okay, wait. It has. Let me import it correctly. Const it has equal to it has. Okay. Okay, it's the way I called it. What was I thinking? Say require it has. So I think this will fix it. So I'll do that again. Yeah. Another error. Okay. So okay, JP. Okay, so it's coming from this RPC part. Documentation to the rescue again. So connecting to the RPC. Okay. So new ethers dot providers dot. So what did I do wrong? New ethers dot providers dot JSON RPC provider. Provider, please, if you can spot the error that I'm making, please let me know. JSON RPC providers. Provider now. So what's the issue? JSON RPC provider. What is here? New ethers dot providers dot JSON RPC provider. So what is wrong? Okay, I think I should just copy this. The same thing. Provider. And the RPC. So let me try again. Let me try again. What have I done? Terminal. Still giving the same error. Cannot read properties of undefined providers dot JSON RPC provider. Mistake I'm making here now. A default RPC 6 points. This is all can spot the error that I'm making. No, this is I'm not saying something right. But it's supposed to work. Or HTTPS. What am I doing wrong? This should connect you to the provider. Okay, so let me try to debug it and see. So the log. Right. Oh no, before here self. Sure that this is working.
Glory, you got a suggestion. Someone said you should close like VS Code and open it again.
And open it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that suggestion. Let me run this one more time. Just to see if that is installed. Yeah, so if that is installed and it's working. Okay, so let me just close it and open it again. Okay. So I'll open the terminal again and see if we practice. And then I'll try again. Node to the JS. Wow. Still showing error there. Providers.json. So what could be the problem? That's supposed to be exactly how it's supposed to be.
Or maybe like instead of using mainnet, you can just try using say testnet also.
Okay. I might not really be able to. Well, let me just remove this and see. But there's no. It's would have been nice if I was testnet. Okay. It's not going to work because I don't know why this. It's not even about the mainnet or testnet. It does the provider.json. I don't know why this is not working. I don't know what to do. What this is supposed to work.
Can you try using an async function for this stuff?
I should use an async function for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, from this, maybe we just have to rewrite everything from this console.log provider part. Like, let's use an async function and see if it will work.
but it's failing here. So it's not even going to get down to that line. It's failing at this .json. So it's not even passing. This line 3 is not passing. It's not compiling. This line is not passing. That's the thing.
I mean, running that line now inside a function, inside the async function. That particular line 3.
Okay, that is making it an async await.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So please, how will I do that? async.
Okay, so just create a function like an async function.
Now that's the thing. So how do I create the async function? Just guide me. Let me write it.
Okay, so just do something like const. Let's just call it get block number equal to async. Then
So the name of the function,
yeah.
then async.
The,
supposed to write equal to.
yeah, equal to then the brackets. No, I mean equal to then is an arrow function. So let's
Okay.
the bracket will come after the async.
Okay.
Then after the bracket, the arrow sign, if there's equal to and greater than sign.
Like this.
Yeah. So inside this, we can now copy this const provider, everything. Let's try it this way.
Okay. I hope this works.
I'm hoping to. Then after that, then we cannot do create a variable that will take the block number. So more like
Let me
const.
just console the block number. Just console the block number. Okay, no.
No, you get what I'm
Please,
saying? Like create
a variable.
Yeah, I mean inside that particular inside the function, the get block, yeah. So create some const, just call it block number.
Okay. Block number.
Then you now do await is equal to then await
Provider.
yes, await provider. Yeah, dot get block number.
Inside this place.
Yeah,
await
get block number. Get block number, then the is a function now. So
okay, wait, is it this code below that we are rewriting also?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay,
so
okay,
the one below we just discard it. Let's just try
okay.
this one now.
Okay.
Await dot get provider dot get block number.
Okay.
The parenthesis at the end.
I've done that.
Yes. So now we can now console this thing.
So I can get this one now and copy
No,
it.
we can just instead of that one, let's just do. Yeah, just count down. Then console.log the block number that we just created. Yeah.
Okay. Block number.
So we can now call this function outside. I mean, we can clean all these other ones. I mean, comment it out. Then, I mean, comment it out. And then let's just call the function that we just created.
Let's get block number.
Yeah, that's the name of the function. Yeah. So let's run and see if it works this way.
Yeah, God, I beg, let it work. So, wow.
What is this showing?
That's still the same JSON RPC provider.
Oh, wait, sorry. I thought in the beginning you said that we are going to import this or something.
Import what?
At the beginning of the code, when you were showing those block codes for this ether, it was like import instead of the const.
Okay. Okay, so instead of writing like this, I should use the import keyword gone as it was in my slide. This
Yes,
could
yes.
just be it. Import it as okay. Let me just try first. But this is also in the documentation. It's also in the documentation. If you go up, you could either write it like this or ES6. So let me do this. So this is not the reason why we have been here for minutes. Let's be funny. Okay, so what's the error? Of course, imports cannot be used outside of a model.
But you didn't remove the first one. I mean, the provider up, you didn't remove it. Like comment it out and let's do it again. I mean, line 4.
Okay, this one.
Yes, I think that try the code again.
Okay, that's why it was not moving down.
Let's see.
So let me remove this import will not work.
Yeah, use the const again. Let's see if it will work this time.
See this problem.
Amox.
It's not from us. This particular distance is not from this. It's not from the way we are writing it.
Okay, so why don't you use like alchemy instead of like inferior now that you're using?
Okay, so I should try alchemy. Well, I don't think that is. I think the issue is coming from this particular method, JSON RPC provider. I don't think it's from because we just used it now. We just used it in
Web3.js.
Yes. So I don't think it's except if it doesn't work now, then we know. So I don't think the RPC is the problem.
But did it just work, or maybe I'm seeing another?
No, this is index.js. We are actually on index 2.
Okay.
For Ether.js. So I don't think this particular issue is from that. Except they have changed some things in their code and they have not updated their documentation. Or wait, did I not install Ether.js in this particular folder? That could be another issue. It's installed here. It's installed here. So the issue is not from this particular thing. So I don't want us to spend the whole day here. We're actually almost done. It's almost the same thing. So maybe if you try it on your own end and it works, let's be that something is wrong with my machine. So I think we should just move on to how to like interact with the contract. I would use Web3.js, then I would also use Ether.js. Hopefully by the time we get back to it, the head is now correct. Well, I think we have spent enough time here. So let's just move. It's either the documentation, something has been changed and the documentation has not been updated, or it's another thing altogether. So we're almost out of time. So let's just quickly move from here. So connecting to a smart contract, like I said in the slides above, you just need the contract address, the ABI. The contract address, the ABI, then you now get any of the methods that you want to get from the contract. You can now interact with it. So I want us to let's just go to Etherscan and get one particular contract, get the ABI, and use it here. So I'll just go to Etherscan. What's the name of this Okay, this is a token. So I think we'll just use this Chronos. We'll just use it.
Sorry, you got another, like, I don't know, someone said, does V6 support JSON RPC provider?
Okay. VC of what? Okay. That's the VC of Ether.js version 6.0. That means the documentation is not updated because the documentation is showing us version 5.4. Oh wait, is there an updated? Oh, I don't want to come back to this, but let me just check if there's an updated. Oh, there's an updated one. Let's see what I like. Okay, so let me see if the listen is different here. Okay. Okay, so it has from it has. Okay, so let me try this and see. That's what it has from it has. Try error. What's the error? Okay, of course. I don't know why I keep falling for this. Can we use import in it and just say normal? What other options do they have here? Or import? This will not. Okay, let me just see. Provider equals to new. Okay, wait. Is this not the same as what we have? New ethers dot. Okay, it doesn't have providers here. That's the difference. So this could be actually the issue. It doesn't have providers in this one, in version 6. Oh, let me just still use this one. Okay. That's correct now. New ethers.json RPC, then the URL. What was the issue now? Okay, I still have this. Okay, so let me try again. God bless the person that gave this suggestion. So all the while, the issue was just, not be small good eye. Thank you so much. The issue was that I was using version 5 documentation, while what I have, the package I have was version 6. So the ethers is actually working. Nothing is wrong with the ethers. Nothing is wrong with me too. Nothing is wrong with us. Okay, thank you very much. So it's actually the same thing with what we're getting in the other one.
That's Abiola. So shout out to you.
Yes, shout out. Like if you can shout 50 shouts like this, I'll just start shouting. Thank you. You're the real tech bro.
Thank you so much, Abiola. Thank you.
The rest of us are mechanics. You're the real tech bro, tech sis.
No, maybe it's intro texture.
I shall know that at this point I'm a technician. You're the real tech bro, tech sis. So let's just move on quickly because we have already exhausted time here. So as I was saying, the only difference now is, let's go back to Web3.js. So you have to get the ABI, you have to get the contract address, and then the provider. Okay, no, in this particular case, in Web3.js, you don't need provider or signer. I was about to get this. This is a contract address, so I'll store it here. Const contract address also. I'll store it here. Then for the ABI, I'm going to create a JSON file. Name it ABI.json because I want to have it locally. So you can find the ABI of a particular contract on Etherscan, especially if it has been verified. So you just go to contracts, then scroll down. This is the code, source code. Then this is the ABI. So you can see it's contract ABI. So I'll just copy it, come here, then name it const ABI. So hope that is not an error. What's the error? Expected a JSON object. Okay. This right object. Somehow this right object. Const. This one should not stress me.
I think you should remove the const and just press the
Yeah.
just press the API without the const.
Just remove it too. Then I'll just call it like that. So I wanted to be able to call it. So we have the ABI, we have the contract address. What else do we need? That's all we need actually. That's all we need. So now the function. So in Web3.js, you just say new Web3.e.contract. So I'm going to just write it out as well. Contract. Let's say const. Yes. Storing it inside here. Contract cost new. Web3.e contract. Then the ABI. So how do we have to import the ABI? How do we import the ABI? Import ABI. So how do I import it? Let's just import it like that. That's why I wanted to name it something. What is the other way? Please, somebody should help me. What's the other way to just import it like that? How do I import it like that, like that, like that, like that, like that? ABI, or let me just call it dot. Please,
Like import it from the ABI.json file.
But what am I importing exactly?
You can just name it ABI there.
And
then from that file, ABI.json.
Let's see. Is the file now? Practice. How can I see it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. ABI. Thank you. At this point, so I'll say ABI, then contract address. What else? That's all. So anytime I want to call the contract, I'm just going to call it and say contract dot. Then I'll get the method that I want to call. What's the method used here? Yeah, so methods dot. Okay. methods dot say name. Name is a method there as well. Name. Then here I'll call the contract address. Let's call everything. Let's call this. Then error. Actually, then it's completed. Let's call what else? Error result. Okay. Error result. So what else? This. So I'm gonna write what's been giving me errors. What else? So I'll just copy this because I've seen a lot today already. National trail. Sunshine. Then the result, does it have to be resolved? No. Well, it still works. So this is the name, contract address .co. So let's just try it and see if it will work. Okay, I have to change it so that I will know which one. So contract. Yes. Oh, just what's the error? Import ABI from ABI. This is how else can I import this thing? Using const ABI. Okay, let me say const ABI post what's this? Why is this going to work? JavaScript to JavaScript. Oh, what's the issue? Invalid parameters for name. Okay, so it actually passed, but it's throwing an error. So what's the error? Invalid number of parameters. Got 1, expected 0. How did you get 1 and you expected 0? Okay, so contract.name. Is it how it is called? So now let's go and check it as scanner. Let's go and see the functions there so that we'll not be calling function that doesn't exist. So we'll go to read contract name. So this is a thing. This is all we're supposed to see. What's the error again? Invalid parameter. Got 1, expected 1. How are you not expecting 1? Where's the error coming from, sir? Please, the real tech bros and sis. If you see the error, please let me know. Numbers of parameters for got 1, expected 0. Look at it again. Method equal to error results. I think the way I'm even writing this itself is saving an issue on its own. Contracts, the methods. Okay. Let me go and check the documentation for Web.js. I want to this time. So it.contract. Let's see how it is written here. So contract, okay. So contract equals to new contract, JSON interface and address, which was what I did. Then methods, wait, what did I write? Methods, okay. Dot function dot send. Let's see, what is here? It, write it. New contract. No, I don't want to. So I think we should just contract require it set provider this contract equal to new contract JSON interface address method this from okay. So what's the difference? New contract, create a new contract. Okay, then address options, new contract. So what's the error? Time is up. What is the error? Contract dot default contract, no, contract dot call. What am I doing differently? New contract. Should I write it like this? So it makes it easy to interact, create a new this here. Always the way I'm accepting the data. This allows you to create, interact further as if they were JavaScript objects to use it standalone. Before I'll come on it, waste time here. I have something else. I was using this Web.js, Web3.js. So let me open this up somewhere else and see. Because time is already up. Okay. This is React. So let me check this. Okay. So how am I using the contract here? Const. Clicking this. Okay. Okay. Now wait, taking contracts dot method. Okay. Name dot call. So let me just see. That means I don't need this here anymore. So let me try this again. I think that's where the issue is coming from. Can you imagine? Oh God. Oh, Chineke. So I didn't need to put that here because I'm already calling this. This already has the contract address and the API. So with this, you can interact with, you can get all the functions that are there in the contract. If I change this one to total supply, I try it again. Should work. Yes. So you can see that with this Web3.js, you've been able to get all the functions that are in the smart contracts. So you can read it and you can also write it. That's for Web3.js. For Ether.js, it's almost the same thing, just slight difference. The only thing is that you'll be providing the signer. Okay. So here you're just calling the provider. I mean, there's a mistake here. This is for when you don't have this. You don't even need to write this thing here. I think this is a mistake. So it's almost the same thing. You just need the contract API and then the provider. Let me check the documentation to confirm because I don't want to do it 2 times. Where is it? So user interaction, provider. So how do you access it? You just say await provider dot get block number. So let me see. So the lesson of this thing is that make sure that you're just using documentation, an updated version of the documentation. Okay. So you're saying so provider dot get balance. Okay. Blockchain number dot. I just need this provider here. So I'm gonna do this. Provider dot name.
I don't think we
I'm
have
missing
the
something.
smart contract
Yeah,
address
the ABI.
and the
ABI,
API.
yes, that's correct. That's correct. But in this particular case, I think I mixed up the stuff. So this is the URL. So where is the contract? Okay, yes. Okay, ABI, then the contract. Read only. Contract, new contract. So what is this? DI tokens or this ABI, and then the provider. So you're saying contract equals to new contract. Then I'll read contract of this. Wow. So what is this? Where is this coming from? Where is that coming from? Is this supposed to be the address? Is this an ENS? So let me just create it here and see. So I'll say const contract equals to await. Going to await. No. Just await since I'm getting provider. New. Then contract. What was the time? 7. Jesus, past 7. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me quickly round this up. Contract, ABI provider. So where's the other one? Let's get the ABI as well. Copy and paste. Then contract. So I'll bring this here. And then I'll say ABI contract address and provider. I need this here still. Yeah. So how do I use it? Same thing, I just have to call contract.symbol. So just say contract dot contract of what name? Yes. No, this is not going to. Contract. So that's what I'm doing. So let me put this in a variable. So this, then I'll console the logit log. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do that and see. Yes, I don't need a wait here. No, I'm using it here. New contract. It's not defined. What's the problem? New contract. It's not. Am I supposed to define it somewhere? Contract. No, I don't mean contract. Oh, that's Web.js. So what's the issue? Okay, contract. 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 Please, who can help me figure out what I'm doing wrong? New contract. Contract. What's the problem? Okay, let's see. It has the contract. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Contract. What's the problem now? Okay, say what's the problem? Token S in JSON at position 1. This. It's evaluation. I'm trying to understand where the error is coming from. Undefined one. New base contract. It has get block number. Please, give me a minute. Undefined one. New it contract ABI. There's provider. So what's the issue? New it contract.name. So what's the issue now? Yes. Okay. So please, if you have a question, I don't know, while I'm trying to see what is wrong there. That's actually the end of the slide, actually. So this is like just the difference. the difference between the two of them. Ether.js has been around longer, while Web3.js has been around longer than Ether.js. Then, although because of the size of Ether.js is actually a bit smaller than Web3.js, so you can say that the web application loads more quickly and uses up less space. Then Web3.js community is larger because it has been around for longer. You have more people that have gone through all the issues you probably have gone through. Then Ethers is developed and maintained by a developer, Rick Moore, that's his name, while Web3.js is developed and maintained by Ethereum Foundation. So that's just all. I don't know if you have any other question. I'm sure that is a syntax error that I'm having, but I cannot spot it out right now. If you have any question, please.
Okay, so guys, if you have any question, she's available to answer any question. As regards what has been taught today, any observation, question, anything, even if you don't have, please unmute your mic and say something, please.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, you're audible.
Oh, like definitely there were some errors in this session, and at least we're able to tackle like some of them. Yeah. But my question is like, we weren't able to cover all 36 slides today now. So my question, like, Gloria will be taking us the next like session, so we'll be able to wrap everything up.
No. I'm actually done. This is the end. The rest are question, and that's it. Then my face and me again. So that is all. With this thing, you can actually start interacting with your smart contracts from your front end. Like you can see, the project I opened up was a React, and I was using Web3.js to get data from the blockchain. So this is actually all you need. You just need to know the syntax and check the documentation, because obviously they changed some things and I was still using I was using version 5, version 6 is already out. So yeah, I will not be available, I will not be around for the next one. I'm actually done here.
Okay, that means you just...
Okay, thank you so much, Glory Praise. Thank you for this session. So the slides will be made available, right?
Yes, sure.
Yes, you are also on the Discord server, right?
Yes, I'm on Discord.
Okay, so if you have any question, you can always reach out to our tagger on Discord, and the resources will be sent as well. All right, so there will be another session on Thursday. More information will be passed across on the Discord. Stay tuned, and this recording will be made available as well. Thank you, everyone, for staying. Thank you once again, Glory.